Good morning, everyone. This is Kathy Mason from MasonWorks Marketing, here today on Conscious Business Zone with Sheila Seppi. Hi, Sheila. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Is it cold up in the mountains?
No, it's absolutely beautiful. The
Oh,
aspen are starting to turn.
oh,
Everything's got that yellow glow. It's gorgeous.
oh gosh. Well, Sheila is living in Eagle Vail, which is up in the mountains near the ski resort Vail. And so I'd love for her to tell you all about her company, which is Spirit Way Wellness. But first, I got to meet Sheila because I'm a volunteer with the IONS group. And Jackie Arnold, who's a dear friend of mine, brought Sheila in to talk about being a walk-in. And so I thought, if you don't mind, I think the Conscious Business Zone people might understand and have a lot in common with you. So do you
Okay.
mind talking about that first, and then we'll
Sure.
talk about your company? But I
Sure.
think it's fascinating.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, back when I was 20, in my 30s, I had a whole host of different illnesses. I had been diagnosed with the potential of brain tumors, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, MS. I used to actually walk with a cane. At one point, they told me that I had bone cancer. I did have erythema nodosum and sarcoidosis. And the neurological doctors in Roanoke, when I was in my 20s, told me that I would be in a wheelchair by the time I was in my 40s. So when I got into my late 30s and I started walking with a cane, I thought, oh boy, here it goes. But I was a very sick person, needless to say. So I went to bed one night in September of 1999, a very sick person, very entrenched in my belief systems. And I woke up at what felt like 7 o'clock the next morning. It felt like someone reached down, grabbed me by the hair of my head. I sat bolt right up in bed. It was like lightning went through my entire body, and I found myself in white space. And I don't know how long that I was there, but when I came to myself, basically the peripheral vision started to come in first, and then the frontal vision came in. And as I looked around my room, everything was the same, but everything was different. All of a sudden, I had a clairvoyance that I had never had before. I had clairaudience. I had all the clairs, which totally freaked me out because I didn't have a foundational base on which to operate from. I had never in my life read a single metaphysical book. I had never, it was crazy. So honestly, I thought that I was going mad. But within 3 months, I had left the marriage that I was in. I had moved my children to a town. I met my first spiritual teacher because I accepted a job out of state within another 3 months. So within 6 months, I was gone from the marriage. I was in another state. And through working with my teacher, who I initially went to her because she was a PhD in psychology and a spiritual counselor. And I thought, man, I need that. Because I thought I needed to be checked into a psychiatric hospital. But she basically talked me down and explained the process that had happened to me, because she was a walk-in herself. She was very clairvoyant, and she began to explain what had happened to me was very normal for a walk-in. So, it was not normal at all to me. But from there, I began to study with her. I began to study all types of holistic modalities while I was working full time. And then within 4 years, I met my new husband, and we married, moved to Colorado because it's just absolutely wonderful and gorgeous here. And I really felt like this is where I need to be. And so I ended up opening up what's called Spirit Way Ministries because my teacher was also Hopi, and she's an elder. And so she had charged me with taking the teachings of the people out and teaching the women's circle in the same way that I was taught. And so that's what I did. I set up a ministry. I began to work with women, but very soon I started getting other messages from Spirit that, you know, people cannot drop from their head space into their heart when they're in pain.
Right.
And so if you're going to truly be a catalyst and focus on body, mind, spirit change, you're going to have to offer more spiritual healing or healing techniques to get people to a place where they can open up and get them out of pain.
Right.
And so I began studying all different types of modalities, which really has brought me today in the business. And so we are located in Eagle Vail, Colorado. We have, 4 different rooms, 5 different rooms that can be occupied sometimes all at the same time, because my son is now working with me, and we have a modality we've developed called Body Reboot. And we move muscle, bone, tissue, fiber. We are applying an energy that just comes through us to assist us in that process, because a lot of times we're able to do with our hands what would normally need to be done surgically. And so I think that a lot of that is that walk-in energy that has come in with me, and it's part of my mission, which of course is to help to get people ready for the ascension and, to be able to open them up consciously.
Well, I know a lot of people that say they're walk-ins, and the thing is, like I have a friend, Tamara Oviatt, who she said that her walk-in, they both were in the same body. And then just at the beginning of this year, I think Tamara decided to leave and the walk-in stayed.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel like you can tell if is Sheila still there, and are you sharing? Sheila's
the original soul to the body is called the natal soul. And my natal soul left.
Wow.
It was in so much pain. Through studying and working with Barbara Lamb and doing some hypnosis, and she's awesome, isn't she? Working with her, I found that when the new spirit came in, it came in through the top of the head. The other soul was so weak, it propelled it out. But the energy that came in is what actually thrust me bolt upright in the bed. And so the thing that was very disturbing to me in the beginning, and one of the reasons I thought maybe I was having a psychotic break, is because I no longer had a lot of memories about anything. I did not remember people that I went to school with. The only people that I really knew and recognized, of course, I knew my children. I knew the husband at the time. I knew my mom, my dad, and my sister. That's about it. And even today, I do not have full recollection. So at that time, I thought, oh, maybe I'm a psychotic break that's causing amnesia, because people that I supposedly was really close to before, I just had no attachment to, and I still don't have attachment to them. It's when people talk to me about, oh, you remember when? And I'm like, yeah, man, it sounds like we had a great time, because I really don't have a clue what we're talking about. So I've really gotten to the point that So I'm really good now at being able to disguise the fact that I don't know these people, because I'm not going to wear a name tag that says I'm a walk-in. Don't talk to me, whatever. But when I do I can pull things forward, like memories of the children, through photographs and having the story repeated to me over and over again. So I do have some memories, but they're very select memory as a result of some type of remembrance just through the photographs. Because when people talk to me, it's like, I'm watching an old movie. And it's like, yeah, I kind of remember that, but not really. So, it's been very unique. And I've really struggled with that a lot. And, you know, my kids, of course, know, my husband knows I'm a walk-in, my mom, my sister. I've not yet had that conversation with my dad. I'm not even sure that it's necessary, but I guess they're going to find out, because this September, actually on the 22nd, was my anniversary of 20 years of being a walk-in.
Oh, that's my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday. Yeah, so that's my birthday too.
Yeah, there's a bunch of us people here.
Yeah.
Well, do you still have all of your faculties, so all the C's, all the clairs available to you, or did that just come in all at once and now you selectively have it?
Yeah, it's selectively. I mean, if someone comes and sits in front of me and says, okay, I want you to read my aura, I'm like, I can't do that. But if I'm working on somebody and I'm in a relaxed state, the information starts to flow that way. So I guess I'm now using healing, but the reality of it is probably the biggest gift that has stayed with me is that sense of knowing. I mean, I know what I know beyond a shadow of a doubt. I can meet people and I just know things. I'm going to run up to them and say, hey, you know, that kind of thing. But, you know, there is a knowing. Yeah. For a while I was doing tarot readings because that's super easy for me. But then, you know, as I progressed in the work that I do, I kind of just have that now in the background. So that's not something that I readily offer.
Well, it's very useful for healing. I mean, because so much of the illnesses are emotional blocks. And if you have that intuitive sense, you can sense where the block is. Well, when you were kind enough to work on me, and you used an electronic device, could you talk about some of the modalities that you used? Because it was very different. It was cool. It was really cool.
Yeah. So, you know, we have a lot of different modalities in our toolkit, but specifically with you, I was using it's Evolutionary quantum healing technique, and that was developed by Dr. Randy Frank. And basically, it will charge a device with a variety of energetic components, and that device will hold those frequencies. And so they can be anywhere, anything from physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual issues going on in the body, and I will get a hit. Now, I can muscle test to get those hits, but typically I open up the case and they sort of light up for me. It's like, choose me, choose me, choose me.
Okay, can you explain them a little bit more, because these people don't. So what I remember is that you had a case of vials that looked like gases, and that you were able to select which recipe I needed of those frequency of the gases, and then put them in this. I don't know what that was actually. And then use it on me. So but was it was electronic too, right?
No, not those. Those were not electronic. Okay. Now, what the other thing that I used on you were cold lasers, and I had those charging. And so, but back to the vials, they're little containers of water that have had electrical properties instilled into that water. And that water holds a frequency. And so, you know, scientists have known since the 30s and 40s what the frequency or the hertz of a healthy cell, a healthy organ, brain activity, that type of thing was. So based on those frequencies, then we're now able to electrically input those into the water, and it holds a charge. And so those charges can be updated even from my teacher in Germany. And so he'll send out the electrical waves and we pick that up, and it updates the cases that we use. Wow. And I have used those on everything from allergies to colds to emotional releases to help with blockages in the body. And, you know, the cool thing too about being a walk-in is when I touch the body, it just starts talking to me, and it just tells me all kinds of stuff. And so my work, I guess I kind of cheat a little bit because I already know what you need when I touch you. And because I have such a wide range of tools, I can just pick and choose from those.
So when you work with people, first of all, I want to tell you Jackie Arnold's on, and Ann Taylor's on, and Elsie's on, and so we do have some people here. They've just said good morning and hello, but they haven't asked questions. Hopefully they will. What I wanted to know is, can you use those files in a remote way?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I work with people all over the country remotely.
Okay.
And so all they do is they call in. My preference is to work one-on-one with somebody the first time, because then I have their electrical signature. But if we're doing Skype or anything, because energy is energy, I can still pick up that signature and work with the vials. And I've worked on people that are in the hospital, getting ready for surgeries, after surgeries, because there are mechanisms that we can do to help begin to flush anesthesia out of the body, to help calm people, that type of thing, get them ready for surgery, to help get them ready for birthing. And so, the vials can be used so many ways.
And so is that your preference, is to use that modality? I think you use a bunch of them, right? You use
yes, I probably have over 1,000 different vials, because I've been doing this work for over 10 years. And I initially started studying with Dr. Viktor Frankl and learning total body modification, which is touching a point on the body, muscle testing. If it's weak, then we make the corrections along the spine. But he always said you have to have the tools in order to do the appropriate job. So anything that he said, buy this, I'm like, okay, whatever. And so through those, we're able to harmonize allergies. There's a whole plethora of things that we can do. It just depends on what the individual body needs.
Wonderful. Well, Angie said how wonderful and interesting.
Cool.
So I'm curious about the Hopi Indian connection too. Do you feel that your knowledge and your soul mission is connected to the Hopi, or because it feels as though that the what do I want to call mystery schools are coming back, and that we've been kind of in a dark ages, and now we're coming back to the light, and they've been waiting for us to know. Do you feel like that's part of your?
I think that the connection to the native peoples is what I have. I also studied and was apprenticed for a short time with a Cherokee elder as well as an Oglala Sioux. And so I do have a plethora of knowledge about the Native Americans. But the thing, I think, the reason that I believe that is when I first came in, I knew about ceremonies. I knew about different healing techniques. I knew Peruvian techniques that as I've gone through my walk and studied, it's like, oh, well, Peruvian shamans do that. I'm like, how did I know that? Obviously it just came in. And so, I believe I do have, a strong connection with all of the native peoples, or maybe I was able to gather up that information as I came in to be able to use it the way that I do now. Because, before I came in as a walk-in, apparently I was part of a collective that had basically enshrouded the planet. And when we came in like the late 80s, somewhere around 87, 88, but we came in to assist in holding the space for the convergence and the concordance and all the alignments that were going on at that time. And then in 1999, when the natal soul cried out to be released, the collective, it was like an instantaneous thing. So the collective decided that I would come in, and that soul went out, and boom, sis, boom, ba, there I was.
Wow.
There's some really cool stuff. I also study the quantum hypnosis healing technique developed by Dolores Cannon.
Right.
And that is super cool because we can go in between lives, in between lives, in between lives, you know, and it's so fascinating. And also, like, I've got Robert Schwartz that'll be coming in April to the Eagle Vail area to give a workshop on pre-birth planning. And so I'm not sure if I participated in that, because what's coming through, what I can remember and what's coming through with the hypnosis is that it was just like instantaneously. And so I think I brought a plethora of knowledge from the collective, including a lot of the Native American and a variety of indigenous healing techniques with me.
It's fabulous. So Angie has a question for you. She says, what if the person doesn't know what the body needs? Can you discern it?
Yes. The person doesn't need to know on a conscious level because the body knows on a subconscious level. And so when I enter into that energy field, that body begins to communicate with me and I begin to communicate with it. And I just know.
Oh, that's fabulous. So,
yeah.
So at your center, you said your son's helping you, and I know you do events. Do you have any events coming up?
Oh, yes, we do. I've got two major events that's coming up. Like I said, I've got Robert Schwartz that's coming, and that is in April of next year. And it's 3 days. It's a Friday night, all day Saturday and Sunday. And there will be divine virtue exercises. He'll actually take us through to be able to contact a deceased loved one. He's going to do a group soul regression and take us back to our pre-birth planning. And so it sounds, I mean, I'm really, really fascinated with that. I'm super excited. And then in June of next year, part of my mission is conscious awareness and conscious awakening. And so we have a conscious awakening series that comes through Spirit Way, and we have what's called Spirit Fest. It's 2020, and it's called The Flip Side of the Coin. And we have Barbara Lamb coming, and we have, Vicki Warner coming. Andrea Piran will be coming. Yvonne Perry, Jacqueline Smith. People may know Serena Baptista. And then Fernando will be there with his 7-foot Merkaba talking about sacred geometry. I have Rebecca Hardcastle Wright coming, Scott Warner, and then Yamanya. And as our office continues to grow, we now have Yamanya works out of our office, and Fernando has moved from California, and he's working with us too.
Wow.
So it's really cool. Actually, that's one of the reasons I'm here in my house today doing this interview, is because there's so much activity. I was afraid I couldn't find a quiet space.
Isn't it exciting? How long have you had your center?
I've actually been in the Vail Valley for over 10 years. I first started out in a private house, and then I was in the Minturn area. The last 5 years, I was in the Avon Center, but I found this wonderful, wonderful place. It was an architectural building, so we had a lot of tenant remodeling, but it's great because now we have a rest and relaxation room for people. They just kick back and drink their tea and have fruit or a little cookie or whatever they want. And it's great because they can be on their computer while the person they came with. Then we have a ionic foot detox. And as a matter of fact, anybody that's listening to this, if you come by the center and say that you saw this interview, we will gift you with a free foot ionic detox or a 30-minute far infrared sauna. Because we do a lot of detox in the center. We also, one of the most popular things that we have is I do a lot of red light therapy. And the machine has multiple settings. One setting actually emulsifies fat, and people will shed anywhere from 2 to 4 inches in a session. And people are like, why would you get into that with everything else you're doing? It's because, emotions are chemical responses in the brain. And one of the most readily places that those chemicals can be stored is in the fat cells. And so when we do these types of therapies with people, they may think they're coming in for like a facelift, or they're coming in for, fat emulsification. But the reality of it is, what we're trying to do is get that out of their body so they can drop down into their heart space and really, become connected more with their soul energy. So yeah, and then I've developed a technique using the vials and the red light where, honestly, within 24 hours, people will look like they're 5 to 15 years younger. And it continues to work. It's a series of 3. So you do 1 session one day and 2 the next, or 2 one day and 1 the next. But because it increases the number of fibroblasts in the connective tissue, it just begins to increase more collagen and elastin. So it's not like that, there's no creams, there's nothing. It's just energy. And I reprogram the skin to think that it's 25 years old. So that's very, very popular. We do brain tapping, with the goggles and the earphones, which helps to balance the right and the left hemispheres of the brain. Now Yamanya's in there, and she offers, the soul matrixing, massage. We've got Fernando in there, and he does all the sacred geometry healing and emotional release. And today he has his 7-foot Merkaba set up, and people come and they sit in the Merkaba and they start to release all kinds of emotions, and he sends them home with homework and, all kinds of things. But the reality is, it sounds like we have a lot of foo-foo stuff too, but that just draws different kinds of people in, because, my job is to help them realize the profound expressions of their soul. And however we can get them in there and talk to them, and begin to open them up, that's how I want to do it. So sometimes it's healing, sometimes it's bringing people in. If people are interested in any of the modalities, they can go to the website at spiritwaywellness.com. Or if they're interested in the events, they can go to the consciousawakeningseries.com.
Okay. I'll put that in there too.
Yeah. Because we also have people that come monthly, like we have Ron Zastro that will be coming during the month of October talking to us about conscious awakening. And so we have, monthly events. We have quarterly events. We do, the changing of the season ceremonies, and we just do a lot.
So a bunch of my friends, Jackie put, let's get a group to go up, and people are going, yep.
Come on.
It's like have a girls' weekend and get
there. You go.
So I wanted to ask you about what you're seeing. My part of the reason why I think I click with you so much is we have a similar mission. I'm here to help as many people wake up to their divinity, and so are you. You're doing it different ways. I'm doing it by helping people like you get out and get the knowledge available, like on the business zone. So I'm wondering, how are you seeing with what's happening in the world right now? How are you seeing? I'm hopeful, and I'm seeing a lot of good, but there is still that thrashing of the media and the fighting for the good stuff that's going on. That I'm just wondering, how are you seeing it?
Well, the first thing I have to say is, there's 2 things I want to talk about. The solar energy that's penetrating the earth and the electromagnetics of all of that. But there is massive amounts of the divine feminine energy that's returning to the planet. And it has been for the past few years. And more of that energy continues to come in. And as the divine feminine begins to anchor itself, it starts to change the paradigm. And when it changes the paradigm, that means that the old patriarchal ways have to be released. And they're not going to go easy. And I think that's a lot of the upheaval that we're seeing right now. To me, it's very simple. It's just that restructuring of the old patriarchal energy. And the worse it gets, the stronger I know that the divine feminine is coming in. So I don't worry about any of that stuff. I'm like, that's just a little trauma drama, the story that's taking place. But it's because that divine feminine is being anchored on that energy on the planet. The other thing that's really happening is, when we had this fall equinox, there was a massive amount of new platonic energies that started coming and hitting the planet. Yeah. And the electromagnetics of the planet they're going like this, they're going crazy. Typically the megahertz of the planet should be 7.8, but now they say, nope, it's a solid 12 megahertz. Right. But the other day it registered as high as 58 megahertz. So if it's affecting Mother Earth, Gaia, if it's affecting Gaia that way, what's it doing to us? It's causing our electromagnetic shields to fluctuate. And then on top of it, we're having all of these solar flares that's coming in. And when that comes in, it's bringing new encoding because we are raising our vibration just as Gaia is raising her vibration. And when we do, we have to release all those things that no longer serve us. We have to let go of all of that stuff. And so people that are not aware of what's going on, they're freaking out like I first freaked out when I was a walkie. It's like, what's happening here?
Well, what I really feel that the first step is empathy. Is so most people get highly sensitive and get aware that they feel other people, because up until the chance that you start feeling, you can't really. Feeling is healing, as Don Lynn says. I want you to know, Elsie, Angie's saying, ooh, she's speaking my language. And Elsie's saying, curious to know what Sheila feels when she does her work. Joy, enthusiasm, hopefulness, high energy, question mark.
All of the above. When I work on someone, when I first started working on people, sometimes, I would just shake, because I was receiving so much information and being an empath and feeling what they were feeling, that caused a lot of disharmony in my own body. And so I really have worked to protect myself. So when I'm working on somebody, I can be a clean slate. I don't feel their emotion, although I know that emotion is there. And so I have a very strong awareness of what's happening to them without dropping into that particular emotion or that particular space.
Perfect.
So, but that's taken years to learn to do.
And well, that's part of the gift, is you've already figured out so that you could help the people that are awakening. Right. And I really see your work as a part of it's like the mystery schools. This was, we've known it, and it's been protected information until we were ready. And and so when I said, how are you dealing with the disruption of the media and of the world, I kind of go, my first thing is that love, and then if it's not love, then it's not light. Right. it's
exactly
not, right.
Exactly. Yeah, people that come, I have some people and they just bust out crying on the table, talking about how upset they are with the Trump this or Trump that. And it's like, whether it's him or anyone else, at this particular time in our history, these types of activities are going to occur. So if you can remove the person from it and just send love and light and healing to the situation, and just imagine how much negative energy is coming to him or to anybody that's in these positions of power, CEOs, people having to make these crazy kinds of decisions. We have to come from a place of love, because if we don't, then we are just part of the problem.
Right. Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Well, then we are not, we're incongruent with the earth, because everything else is working in a harmony way, and we aren't. So oops, we're out of the game. So as far as, this is another question for you. How do you see, because you have a business and you have a conscious business, how do you see, I'm curious about the paradigm of going from, the pyramid type way of business where the owner makes all the rules, the owner pays the bills, da 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 da, to more of a circle, which is, you said, sitting in circle. I'm curious of how you see the new paradigm of business, because that's what you're doing.
Right, right. Well, I'll be honest, I don't know any other way to operate.
Okay.
Because when I first came into the body, I worked for 5 years in the political arena.
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, no joke. I worked, anyway, that's a long story in and of itself, but yes, I did. I was right in the mix of that, but it provided me the necessary funds to be able to have a nice house for my kids and to provide for them and to be able to go to all the workshops and things that I needed to. But the minute that I got out of that, I was able to just drop into the space that I really came into, which doesn't maybe make sense, but I operate from a place of knowing and an inner awareness. And like even in our business, like I'm renting a new space for people to come in, and if they don't have a place, then they can help. They can bring in toilet paper if they can't pay $10 or something to rent the room. It doesn't really matter to me. But the more energy we have, the more synergy we create. And the more synergy that we create, the more it goes out. And I even see some of the office above us, I even see them starting to incorporate, and even it's like, well, now wonder what my employees would think about that. Whereas before they're like, well, this is kind of what we're going to do. And so I think if we all can hold our own space and we create a synergy and it goes out, we can't help but to affect others. Right. And even if they don't know they're operating a conscious business, it will start to happen anyway.
Right. Right. Well, and that's the whole thing, is co-creating at a different level. So that's my prayer and hope and vision of it all. So is there any, Elsie put, finding the awakening to be powerful. I can feel the need to let the old go and function much more comfortably when I allow myself to be in the ascension.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the choir is here. You're singing the choir here. Thank goodness. And thank you all for being here. And if you have any other questions for Sheila, we're almost going to have to wrap up soon. But so Sheila,
I do want to mention just one thing. I am writing a book about being a walk-in, and I've been interviewing other walk-ins to include their stories. You said that you do know some other walk-ins. So, if they've been trying to get their story out and they want to, co-create this with me, please have them, to give me a call, because I'd love to talk to them.
Sure. Yeah. I got a list.
Okay. Yeah. We are here.
I think there's a thing on either Tom Kenyon's site or Drumbelo's site, Drumbelow McCosdick site, that says, "Are you a walk-in?" And I answered all of it. And it was like, yes. But I'm not sure I am really. But anyway.
Well, we can talk.
Yeah. So
let's talk,
anyway.
sister.
So is there anything else that you would like to share? I mean, you've got these wonderful promotions. You've got the opportunity to go up to an absolutely beautiful part of the state. Eagle Vail is just exquisitely beautiful. And, people talk about, snow. It's really nice here, you guys. Don't tell everyone, because they'll want to move here. But it's really beautiful in Colorado. So I mean, there's ways to work with you remotely, and so is the best way to contact you is through your website and through Facebook? Is that?
Yeah, they can contact me that way, or they can email me at Sheila, SHEILA at Way Wellness.
Okay. And I keep putting your website up in front of you.
Oh, thanks. The one thing too that I wanted to mention, that when people come in and I notice that they are in a real heightened state of sympathetic state in their body, we try to get them down into that parasympathetic, because when they have an awakening, all of this adrenaline begins to run through their body. All of these toxins begin to dump out. And we find that by using, we can use the vials and combine that with the cold laser, and it begins to put them within 10 minutes into the parasympathetic state, so that they begin to calm down, and then that can be locked in so that that can then become their new mode of operation.
Wonderful. Yeah, I was working with someone over the weekend to do a video product, and we were actually all of us were phasing in and out of this dimension. Cool. And I found myself the next day, my nervous system was a little uptight.
Yeah.
So it was like drink gallons of water.
Yeah.
And get some sun and all.
That's right. Water. Get out in nature, ground.
Yeah. Give it to the earth. It knows what to do with it.
Yes.
Right. But I'm so excited because I really see what you're doing as a model for what we all can do. And it's fabulous. The technologies that you're using and the mindset that you're using is really dear to my heart. And I think to a lot of my viewers, they're going to really resonate with you and want to know more and want to play. A lot of my viewers are healers that have modalities that are quite remarkable, that if you're doing events, they might want to play with you. And I think we'll get you on the virtual side with us here.
Yeah. So. Well, I was going to say, I'll put this back up, at the Spirit Fest, we do have, it's a full 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we do have people who will be setting up booths and providing healing. Now, that event is in Leadville, and it is breathtakingly beautiful where we are. We're at the foot of Mount Massive and Mount Elbert. That time of year, the wildflowers are up. We're right along the Arkansas River. And, last year we had some real freaky weather that came in, and it was cold. But everybody just kind of huddled together, and it made it really intimate and super fun. This year, I'm hoping that we're going to have, the end of June weather that we typically
you put your order in now.
That's right. Put it in.
So Jackie said, has Sheila shared a list of nearby places to stay, such as Airbnbs, etc.? And anyway, so you can, when you get a chance, you can put stuff in the comments, so that, because it sounds like there's a whole road trip from a bunch of us down on the flat.
Good. Yeah.
It would be really fun. And then Elsie, get the nervous system response. So I think that's what you're seeing, where people are acting up a little bit. It's their nervous system that's overloaded. Absolutely. And it's not going to get any less. The solar plasma, we're in a different spot in the solar system, in the galactic center. We're in the Milky Way. We're in a place that's going to ask us to keep clearing whatever blocks we have to hold light. And Sheila has the amazing techniques to help you release anything that's blocking you from holding more light. So I hope that you'll take the time to go to her website, look at all the cool stuff she's doing, contact her on Facebook. I'll put her email and the Conscious Awakening series in the comment section. And please, you guys, do it. There's an easy way and a hard way. You don't have to take the hard way.
That's right.
You can put your hand up, and that's I'm so glad you're here, Sheila, that you're offering these wonderful tools that really, you can go through therapy and stay in your story and do all that stuff, or You can do that. So why would anyone take the old road when they have this incredible new road to go that spontaneously shifts your electrical system and your body and your consciousness, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
fun.
Yeah. Oh, it always is. Thank you so. And I love your energy. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
All
everyone.
right.
Thank you. And
have a great day.
just count me in for a brief migration into the mountains. So I think we got a party coming here.
All right. Sounds great to me.
Okay. Thank you, Sheila.
Okay, thank you
So much.
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye.